It's just not fair. It's not fair that I'm doing all this work. I'm doing the counseling. I am reading the book, doing the workbooks. I'm watching videos. I'm working towards healing this relationship. And I just don't feel like my spouse is stepping alongside me and doing the work with me. It's not fair. It's not fair that I'm the wounded party and I'm the one having to do all the heavy lifting. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, I said that. I really did early on. Now, my husband did pick up and do the heavy lifting down the road, but early on, it was me. I was the go-getter. I was making the counseling appointments. I was shoving books in front of his face saying, read this, or sending him, articles I read online or whatever it may be. I was doing all the heavy lifting. And I've seen this in my Facebook group, and I've had clients who have complained about this. So I'm going to address this and maybe kind of help us look at this a little bit differently to put more of a hopeful spin on this as opposed to feeling completely overwhelmed or feeling the injustice of the situation. So we'll be right back and talk about that. This word fair, it's not fair. I'm going to say this, and I know you guys are probably going to turn off the video when I say this, but the reality is life is not fair. None of this is fair. There is nothing fair about what happens after an affair, because the bottom line is the person who is having to carry a lot of the burden is the person who didn't ask for it. Those of us who are betrayed. We didn't ask for this. We didn't choose to be in this particular scenario. So if you're asking yourself, it's not fair, why do I have to do all this? He's not doing it. I should, or if you're just ready to throw your hands in there and say, forget this. Why am I even bothering? I want us to try to kind of turn and look at this differently. So imagine, this whole, it's not fair. You're looking at one side of a sphere, and there's a whole other side of this sphere that you're not seeing. So let's turn it. Let's turn it and let's start looking at it differently. And here's how I want to do this. The work that we're doing, I didn't have the Facebook groups back in the day because this was 12 and a half years ago, but if you're in Facebook groups, if you're doing YouTube affair recovery stuff, if you're reading articles, reading books, doing workbooks, going to therapy, doing all this stuff, doing everything you can to get beyond this and heal, instead of asking the question, it's not fair that I'm having to do all this, instead of looking at that side of the sphere, let's just turn it. Because if you really look at it differently, are you going to regret any of the hard work you're doing right now? Who's benefiting from the therapy and from the videos and from all the work you're doing? Who's benefiting from that right now? Who's the main beneficiary? You are, okay? All this work you're doing, I know a lot of this is to heal your marriage, but in essence, what you're doing is trying to heal yourself. So you won't regret the hard work you're putting into this. Fair or not fair, what you're doing is good. It's worth it. It's worth every second, okay? So if you just turn it around and look at it differently, it's not a justice issue anymore. It's an intentionality toward healing for yourself. So when you schedule the counseling appointments, when you read the articles, when you do what you can to be a better human, a better wife, a better mother, to lean into the marriage, to help the marriage be healthy, All of those things you will never, ever, ever regret doing because you are benefiting from it. You will forever, and I promise you, as someone who's on the other side of this, you will forever be happy you did it. It's not about justice. Now, I will address the elephant in the room because I can hear it. I know it's coming through the screen right now. But he's not doing anything. How are we supposed to heal the marriage if he's not doing anything? That's the not fair part. I understand. He broke it. He needs to fix it. I hear that more times than you think. We betrayed partners. We can only do what we can do. And if our motivation behind what we're doing is to be a better self, we are going to step into a healthier marriage automatically, because a healthy marriage is two healthy people. And if you're doing all this work and being the best version of you can be, then you are helping the marriage. If your spouse is not coming alongside, is not doing their part to be the best version of them, what's going to happen over time, and you'll get to that. I have another video on how do you know when it's time to leave? But over time, what happens is you keep growing and they stay here. And that's when things get challenging. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're over here and they're back here, and they need to catch up. They need to be with you. They need to be a partner in this scenario. So if this is you and this is what you're struggling with, the unfair issue, I would recommend you lean into this with a different attitude of, I am doing this for me. This is for me. This is for my healing journey. This is for me to be the best version of me. And I will step into this marriage as a better version, a healthier version, so that we can have a healthy marriage. It is up to them, meaning the wayward spouse, as to whether they're going to step in alongside you. Okay? That's a whole other video, I guess. But I just wanted to address this fairness issue. I think we get caught up in that. But if we just turn it and look at it differently, then we're doing what we're doing for a good reason. Not because we have to and it's unfair, but because we want to and it's a good thing for us. Hope that makes sense. I hope that helps you kind of rethink what you're doing. I think it's great, all of the work you're doing. Good for you, okay? You will never, ever, ever regret the choices you make to help yourself. That's where your power lies. What you do for you is where your power lies. Lean into that as best you can, okay? If you need a little help along the way and you're looking for a coach, I'd love to have a free consultation with you. My link is below. Schedule that. There's no obligation. And there's also some freebies, and join my Facebook group for Betrayed Wives. I'd love to have you there. All right. So remember, keep doing what you're doing for you. Okay? You'll never regret it if you keep doing it for you.